Fujimoto. Reverend David was born in Honolulu and graduated from Farrington High School on Oahu in 1993. He furthered his education at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, where he obtained a BA in psychology in 1998. Pursuit of the Nembutsu path led him to attend the Institute of Buddhist Studies in Berkeley, California, where in 2010, he received a master's in Buddhist studies. Reverend David is continuously enhancing his ministry by taking courses such as spirituality in healthcare, holistic peer counseling, and is a board-certified chaplain candidate after completing classes in Clinical Pastoral Education International in 2022. In Reverend David's ministerial career thus far, he received his Tokudo ordination in 2007 and Kyoshi ordination in 2010, both in Kyoto, Japan. In 2011, he became a Kaikyoshi. He served as associate minister at Honpa Honganji Hilu Betsuin, followed by assignment as resident minister of Puna Honganji, which included overseeing Pahala and Naalehu Honganji missions. During that time, he was a tremendous help to our temple when we ourselves did not have a resident minister. Reverend David made many trips to Kona to render ministerial service. We will be forever grateful for your support, Reverend David. Currently, Reverend David is a resident minister of Mililani Honganji while overseeing Eva Honganji. Please give a warm welcome to Reverend David Fujimoto.
This one important, this one can go over here. Well, please join me in a moment of reflection with your hands put together in Gassho. I've collected true words to aid others in their practice for attaining birth, in order that the process be made continuous, without end and without interruption, by which those who have born first guide those who come later, and those who are born later join those who were born before. This is so that the boundless ocean of birth and death be exhausted. Namo Amida Butsu. I guess they're right. There's never a service that something doesn't go wrong. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay. So, good morning, everyone. I'm a little, I didn't realize this thing was so high. I'm getting a little anxious because I'm so high. I have what you call that? Fear of heights, and I'm kind of getting all nervous right now. But it's, it's always funny, the Dharma speaker kind of is the last person to speak. So, for me, in hearing what the MC's introduction was and Reverend Blaine over here talking, it feels like I don't need to say anything else because what they said was pretty much what I'm going to talk about. So I think, thank you very much. No, I shouldn't do that. But like I said, it's great to be back in Kona. Congratulations on your 125th anniversary. Thank you, Blaine Higa, Reverend Blaine Higa. No, I didn't forget your name. It's just that, I've called him so many things over the years. Yes, appropriate and proper. But, I am humbled to be able to call you my colleague, friend, and mentor. It's been an honor and privilege to be standing before all of you to spend this moment with all of you in this sacred space and time. This year, Mililani Honganji is celebrating its 45th anniversary, kind of moyang, just like me. I'm glad I'm at least older than something in the Honganji. And, in the reflection from the first resident minister, Reverend Kojun Suehira, In my mind, it reflects what this Etaikyo service means. Okay, so it says, he says, the beautiful path of followers bound by Nembutsu has been making gentle process centered on the temples. In fact, we need to be grateful to the many first-generation pioneers all around the islands who gave their all for the development of Buddhism, never giving in to the many problems and obstacles they faced. However, when we think that our 90 years of history was made possible by Shinshu followers working and donating for propagation and their temples, we must also be especially grateful for and admiring the spiritual power of the Nembutsu followers. Times have changed, and we are now into the third and fourth generations. Still, we want to persevere and develop what we have received from the first and second generations. I want to applaud the sacred accomplishments of my predecessors who built our Kyodang with the blood, sweat, and their tears. I want the light of Nembutsu to become an integral part of your sacred light. Today, generations later, that sacred light of the Nembutsu is now shining on the third, fourth, fifth, and even sixth generations. These generations are far removed from that of our pioneering first and second generations. The needs, the values, and the guiding principles are far different from the immigrant generation. However, as much as things have changed, one thing is for certain. The light of the Nembutsu has never ceased to exist and has radiated that same light throughout the generations, perhaps just in a different way. That light, that Nembutsu, those teachings have remained relevant and tested the sand of time. As the generations far removed from our first and second generation members, this morning we take the moment to remember all of them. We honor them for their contributions to not only our lives, but giving us life, and also gifting all of you this temple, the teachings, and the hope for a better tomorrow in Namo Amida Butsu. As the resident minister of Mililani Honganji, I am the outsider here. I'm not a member. I don't even live in Kona. So as an outsider, I want to be mindful and careful to honor and perpetuate in my short time here what and who Kona Honganji and the members are, while at the same time honor the members past, present, and the future. It means, however, my perspective is far different from Reverend Higa's, and perhaps even yours. And in that perspective, it could be a plus and it could be a minus. However, we should all see it as a journey that celebrates the karmic conditions that have led us to be here this morning. As you reflect on why you are here today, it's a path that is different for all of us. And yet, if you look around you will see you are not alone. And in that journey, one thing is always certain. We all have or will uncover this appreciation for life that we have been given through this compassionate means. And also you will discover and feel the embrace of all of those who have come in and out of the doors and built the foundation to what you call the Kona Honganji today. To me, this is the heart, the kokoro, the spirit to what Etaikyo means. As we all know, Etaikyo translates to the perpetual chanting of the sutras, right? He said it, I didn't. So let me ask you one thing, okay? What does perpetual mean to you? Perpetual can be thought in terms of something in motion that continues forever in an unperturbed system. When you think about it, it's probably impossible for that to happen, which in a sense is probably true. This morning we chanted the hymns in praise of the Buddha, and it lasted only for a short while. However, next month, you'll probably chant it again, just how many of you did in the past, and for many years to come. Or at least I hope you guys will chant this in the future. But if you really think about it, even though these moments last for a while, the chant, whether it's Shoshinge, Jusei-ge, Sambutsu-ge, etc., still remain perpetually as it has for over 1,000 years. While it may sound grim, eventually we who chant become those who others will chant for and remember in future Etaikyo services. And as one Buddhist scholar mentions, we who are here today once lived only in the minds of those who looked into the future, and will one day live only in the minds of those who will recall the past. Again, while it sounds morbid, there is that sense of connection, even though we are separated in time. Then this ritual of what we are doing, this chanting in praise of the virtues, while becoming mindful of those who have come before us, starts to make sense. And it gives meaning to life and appreciation for the life that we have been given. Many of us have used this term before, or probably have been called this, sensei, right? Many of us know this term. What does it mean? Oh, finally somebody said, exactly, teacher, right? However, if we are to take apart the kanji character, we have a deeper understanding to what a teacher is. Sen, or saki, means before or previous, and sei, or ikiru, means life. So all those who have been born before us are our teachers. They are always with us, always teaching us. And if you consider it, in many ways, they are perpetually with us, because what they teach or taught us helps to teach the next generation, and that generation will teach what we have taught them, and the process goes on and on. So yes, in a true sense, Reverend Blaine, you are my sensei in more ways than one. I knew it went fast. Okay. So back to this perpetual chanting. What? Okay. So back to this perpetual chanting, this ritual, this action that provides us comfort, consolation, as we honor our teachers, our senseis. For one day, we too will become a sensei also, and we too will be perpetuated. This is a more intimate sense of what I want you to kind of think of as we put meaning into this service. In that intimate sense, we start to see that in this perpetual chanting, it includes not only the members of Kona Honganji, but it also each and every sentient being. As there is a sense of generations or a system of people that have one common thing, the Nembutsu teaching, that can be traced to a common person or ancestor, and that is our founder, Shinran Shonin. In the Shoshinge, Shinran traces his system of people that all have a common thing, the teachings of inconceivable wisdom and incomprehensible compassion. That can be traced now to the historical Buddha. So as we remember those members of Kona Honganji, I ask you to also remember every sentient being. Reverend Higa included many people in his aspiration, including the victims of last night's shooting. Every sentient being, as pointed out in the Metta Sutta, suggests that we send our loving kindness to all of them. For quite some time now, I started my messages by posing a question, such as, why doesn't this work? Oh, too much. Okay. I forget where I stay now. Okay. So I asked them questions like, who influences you? Has there been moments in your life that you felt you were living with a purpose? And of course, a very important question, who are you? So I ask a question of you today, as we come together for this Etaikyo service, this memorial service for the members of Kona Honganji. As we were chanting, was there someone you were thinking of? Or perhaps, what about when you came up to offer incense? It was recorded that Shinran said the following. Whoa, that's a little too much. As for me, Shinran, I have never said the Nembutsu, even once, for the repose of my departed father and mother. For all sentient beings without exception have been our parents and brothers and sisters in the course of countless lives in the many states of existence. Perhaps you were compelled to remember a certain someone because you felt this notion that you were connected to this person or that person, as if they were your father, mother, brother, or sister. There is that sense, I feel, that I need to say something about this passage, though. Just because Shinran mentions that there is that feeling that everyone was our mother or father, sister or brother through countless lives or many states of existence, that there is no need to recite Nembutsu for their repose. I believe that he is saying we don't need to say it so that they are born into the Pure Land, such as petitionary prayers, but we recite it with a sense of appreciation and gratitude, just as if everyone was our own mother, father, sister, or brother. But even in that, our appreciation and gratitude is limited, because after all, we are humans. There are many times in which appreciation and gratitude goes out the door. And Reverend Higa knows me well. I am the poster child of that. A couple of weeks ago, I was dropping off my nephew. He's kind of like my grandson, but I call him my nephew. Every time the teacher says, "Oh, Grandpa's here," we don't use that word. So I refer to him as my nephew. Okay, so anyway, I dropped him off at school, and we have to walk them to a little pavilion where they sit down in line and wait until the teacher comes. And one of his classmates looks at me and he says, "Does Watanabe," and this is their teacher's name, "talk to you about the bad things he does?" And this was in reference to my nephew. So I looked at him, I said, I said something that maybe I shouldn't have. The right thing would have been no, right? But as you know me, wisdom and compassion, empathy, appreciation and gratitude went out of the door. I replied, "Hey, first off, you never refer to your teacher just by their name. Her name is Mrs. Watanabe. And second, I'm sure you're no angel in the class either." I swear, I wanted to slap this kid. I looked over to my nephew and I said, "Dude, we don't need friends like this, okay?" He said, yeah. So I left, right? I told him goodbye and I left. So, I never consider myself a Buddha. I'm human after all. Yes, I mouth off. I swear, especially if UH is losing. Although, yeah, they won, but, I'm assuming that none of you watched the game last night, right? Because Kona Wino was playing, and I guess they won. Not that I care. No, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. But anyway, for me, and Reverend Blade knows this, I always insist, people are stupid, right? When very well I could be the stupid one. However, I am a limited person full of desires. I guess I should be explaining this. So this past Thursday was the 2022 Starbucks Red Cup Day. And so for every holiday drink, they give you a red reusable cup. Reverend David got 24 of those red cups. No, I did not buy 24 drinks. It's just, hey, I'm a nice guy. So I ordered 3 drinks, and when I paid for my order, they gave me 3 cups. When I went to pick up my drinks, I got another 3 cups, and when I was leaving, they gave me another 3 cups. I said, no, never mind. I said, take the damn cups. And you know, throughout the day, I make various visits, so 24 cups. Okay, so yes, I am the person full of desires. However, as a Shin Buddhist, I should not be hiding behind that wall to say it's okay. My Bonbu nature is at times hard to accept, but when I do, it hits me really hard. And like I said, as Reverend Higa knows me well, I have a hard time even remembering the word empathy. I called him one day because I couldn't even spell it. In fact, you know, right? You remember that, right? Okay. Last year we had, what was that, summer session Dharma talk, and for the longest time, I couldn't write my Dharma talk because Reverend David's not empathetic. So I had to call him and ask him for examples. So you see clearly through my examples, right, the cups and my nephew, that I am just not it. However, Namo Amida Butsu acknowledges this in me and my subconscious basis to tell me, boy, that was stupid. What am I going to do with 24 cups now? So there's a poem, if I can, okay, that says, the biggest fool I ever knew sat next to me in a pew. As I moved my head, he did too. And when I looked at his foot, he was wearing my shoe. So I turned away, and to my surprise, when I turned back, he looked at me straight in the eyes. I thought, how strange, what should I do? Then the mirror said, you stupid fool. That fool is you. So why do I share this? Especially on Etaikyo. The previous generations, as I mentioned in the beginning with Reverend Suehira's reflection, mentions that we want to persevere, or we want to preserve and develop what we have received from the first and second generations. And that is to preserve and perpetuate the gift that the first and second generations left us, this gift of life, and also this sacred place that we have the opportunity every Sunday to hear the teachings of the Buddha that allows us to acknowledge who we truly are and plant the seeds for us to open our hearts in Namo Amida Butsu. When you really think about it, Shinran Shonin wrote the Kyogyo Shinshu to ensure that the teachings that he had inherited from his senseis remained for all of us, in the aspiration that the teachings spread, and also for peace in the world. In the 800 years since the establishment of the Jodo Shinshu teachings, we too must continue to honor that aspiration here in the now. That aspiration has lasted for over 125 years. That light of the teachings has remained lit for the many generations living here and for the generations of tomorrow and all those. So it is our responsibility, our kuleana, to keep that light going so that we can be the hope, the beacon. The Buddha's wisdom and compassion continues to guide future generations and present generations here in Kona and throughout the world. To end, I would like to challenge you. As we commemorate this Etaikyo service, see where your place is in this world as a reflection of what the pioneers of Kona Honganji left for you. How will you perpetuate this gift that you were given and ensure that the future generations can benefit from Namo Amida Butsu and the dynamic power that is found in the power of the vow? Once again, thank you very much for this great opportunity to share with you my thoughts in the Nembutsu teachings as we commemorate Etaikyo. So as we close, please join me in a moment of reflection and devotion with your hands put together in Gasho. The entrusting heart and the awareness of our limited lives allows us to know who we are. It allows us to understand that the Dharma never changes, just expressed in many ways, and allows us to change. This is uplifting because it means that every moment, every day, every relationship matters. Engaging deeply in the world and with other sentient beings brings meaning and purpose. In that appreciation and gratitude for the life that we have, we repeat the Buddha's honored name. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Pepsi for a new generation. Coke, just down the side.